Hey, what's up, you guys? It's Invite the Light coming back to you. I'm on the road, as you can see. Not my usual, well, whatever. I'm not going to bother to explain. So I'm on the road. Here I am. I'm going to give you guys a reading. So the latest on Meghan Markle, because I know a lot of you have continued to request certain things. Um, The latest thing is that I think Meghan and Harry are expected to spend a little bit of time with the Queen at her estate or castle in Scotland. And in addition to that, the Queen is apparently or supposedly meeting with some of her top royal advisors. So I saw online today about figuring out what to do about Thomas Markle's constant um, going into the media. So I kind of really want to do. I started to do a reading on Thomas Markle, but I really don't want to like connect too much to his energy. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to focus on what the title of this video is again. And I'm just going to take a moment to clear really quickly. Okay, sorry about that, with the silence and all this. All right, so these cards came out like immediately. I feel like the queen is just kind of like looking to take out the trash. They were, I think they also were a little bit surprised, possibly, about this latest interview here. Um, they had already had a good moving plan. They felt that they were moving forward, and it just feels like it continued, and that it's just feels like it might just continue to continue. Like I said, the queen, though, was extremely upset with this. I think Meghan is feeling quite supported again by it seems to me like possibly either the royal family or she just feels supported by the public. I think that's what it is. I think she feels supported by the public. I think for Meghan, she was feeling like a little bit of isolation, because I think being in the royal family as well, you also can feel isolated behind the walls and things like that. So she's feeling a little isolated, maybe judged, and she has a lot to deal with because she's feeling, she has her own reputation in the world, and then she has her reputation with the immediate family, and these people are new to her. So the situation obviously has been very upsetting. But what she hadn't realized is that people are seeing her for her. She's been exuding the fact that she's a pretty lovely girl or young woman, excuse me, and probably gonna call her a girl, but I don't mean it. So it's just because I do that with every single woman. Sexist programming, what can I say? At its finest, perhaps. Um, Another conversation. So anyway, yeah, so she I think that she found out this week. It was also a big surprise to her, even though it was in front of her the whole time. She didn't realize it, but it came like like a lightning bolt. Like, hey, you know what? The public actually is supporting me through this. Maybe I'm not feeling like such a terrible person with this terrible family, or someone who's trying to paint me as being this awful daughter who just has been now in some kind of superior attitude, who's suddenly ignoring her father who sells her out to the press. I'm feeling like, a little bit supported. So there are those two elements there. So what I wanted to see is what they feel they're up against. The Queen and Meghan, although again, I feel like they're feeling pretty good, and the attitude is to just really stay quite regal amidst all of the shenanigans from the father. I don't know if I'm really not getting much of anything new here from the other reading the other day, even though I know you guys want me to kind of do another reading here. So I do feel like there is a sense of worry and failure. These kind of cards did kind of fall upside down originally. So I feel like, to me, like from the Queen's perspective, it's kind of like, you know what, we just keep pressing through to a certain extent like this. It's fine. We may have to, I've been seeing this card for a while. They may have to have some type of attorney approach this man. Let's just see what's behind that, because a lot of you also think that when I say attorney getting involved, no, I think the cards are saying, no, that's not it. They don't want to talk to him. They do not want to talk to him. All right, let me see what else is going on. Allowing itself to peter out, and what they're going to do is just stay regal through the whole thing. That seems to be the plan. I'm going to ask again, but even though the cards told me, I'm just going to ask again, does the Queen have any plans to give a statement on Thomas Markle? I feel like she kind of weighs it out, but I also feel like she looks at Thomas Markle inconstant with his own thoughts and his own mind, and that he'll kind of fall on his own sword. I feel like they're also, I feel like they're just counting on the natural trends of the press and the public, and they're kind of gambling out their options. I think the Queen would like to keep it as she normally does. Like, she doesn't, no speaking out, just really, we take the high road. As Michelle Obama, we go high. That's all. We don't have to get involved in all of this. I do believe they just feel like this will peter out right in the press. I think that they feel that, you know what, the public is killing him enough. Like, Chrissy Teigen is fighting their battles, and I don't know, I wouldn't say that they're like, oh, Chrissy Teigen's fighting our battles, but I think they're looking more at this like, what's the water, let's see, water is, ooh, not so good, Markle's not doing very well in the public. He's getting more notoriety, like I said, than celebrity, and it doesn't help. I'm sorry. You know what I find annoying? Like, these people who are like, somebody wrote on a video, which really, to me, seems like it's just one of the family members, one of the immediate family members involved in this. You guys can look in the video and see the comment if it doesn't get removed by that user. But they're like, don't you think, like, very, very calculating, because she had happy pictures in her childhood, and now she's, not even speaking to the father. I don't know. It was just kind of like, it just sounded just like one of the relatives. I'm not even going to give it any energy, honestly. But it's like this. If Markle feels that Meghan is such a terrible person to him, usually you don't want to be bothered with those people, daughter or not. When somebody's terrible to you, you go, I don't deserve this. I'm trying to be nice. You say what you need to say once, not like 3 or 4 times, and in the media, and insulting the person's husband during the time of the wedding. Almost basically, wedding cake has basically haven't even been served, and you're already like, insulting the husband, and insulting his grandmother, insulting the entire royal family, and then having like the nerve to make all of this, like, to put yourself on some kind of false pedestal where you think you can comment on decisions to meet political figures in a country that isn't even yours. Like, this just doesn't even make any sense. You know, it doesn't make sense. So you can disagree with whatever you need to, but this, of course, England does not like Trump. I mean, it's obvious. It's been obvious with the whole thing with the mayor, with all those $400,000 signatures, trying to ban Trump from the coming into the country and stuff like that. That's when he was there. So you don't need to speak out as if you are really somebody. You don't even know the queen. Don't even know her. So in any case, that was like a long tangent right there. I think that they're just looking at the public and I don't want to say begging on it, but they're just really trusting to allow it to run its course. And I think their thing is they're not going to say anything. They're going to keep up their appearances and they're not going to be forced into a narrative or to answer a narrative. All right. So let's see here. So I feel like with those cards upside down, there's a certain level of thing where there's no failure and no worry. What could they be talking about in these emergency meetings then if they're not going to respond to this man? Now I'm digging into energy, but it's not personal energy, so I guess it's okay. I know the queen really wants to get control over this. Harry really wants to get out into the world. What is this? I think how they want to combat this is through really focusing on creating their own narrative, driving their own narrative, and overlapping, or let's say turning up the volume over the noise of Markle by doing things through really great, fast-moving, really getting a lot of humanitarian projects done together, being very consistent and organized, and yeah, I mean, just really, that's what the plan is, honestly. And it's not even so much driven. I mean, this is stuff that Harry and Meghan both already want to do. So it's not even like Thomas Markle is like driving them to do this. But this is their best way of really controlling who they are in the media and also just driving him to fall on his sword faster than ever. Okay. So he is going to continue to hold on yet again. There'll be more news where he's going to hold on to lashing out at the queen, But I mean, I just feel like they're losing money. They're not making enough money at all, and they probably never ever will. I mean, this family is just so, ugh. And people just look at them, how they just march over and just like doing stuff for money. I mean, everybody could use a little extra money. We're not saying that, but just the way it's like no regard for this girl, no regard, no respect for her husband and his position. Like it's just like what the fuck. And then Chrissy Teigen is excuse me, and she's right as shit. Like like you're sitting here, you don't even know the woman. You're hearing this man go on the thing telling every single freaking detail of his daughter's life. And here we are, the public. We're people who are like even interested to know kind of what's going on. But even us, we don't even want to know that much. Even us, we're like, dude, stop talking. So it's been, I just realized I was getting so loud, and I hope it, are the people in the other room like having to listen to me for like hours? Do my readings with my voice all high like this. Just realized I'm going to try to keep it low. It's quite late here now. So, it's just kind of like even we as the public don't want to Sorry, I didn't even have these on the whole time. So hopefully everybody can hear. But even we as the public don't want him giving out that much information. We don't need that much information. Some things are sacred and private, so stop giving them out. But I do believe that Markle's still going to try to be holding on for the money, really full of a lot of ego. And I mean, he keeps like, what is with him, like making up this story all the time? Like, yeah, man, I really feel like he's just lost all his scruples. And I just mean like his morals. Like it's like, well, he got a couple of payments and he's like, you know what? I'm in it to win it. And it looks like that's what he's gonna be focused on is all these interviews and stuff. Um, I'm not sure the queen fully I don't want to say the queen doesn't fully recognize that. Huh. But I think Markle better watch his back too because the queen could um figure out some ways to kind of take him down. I don't feel like, you know, because her hands are tied because of public opinion and she doesn't want to seem too heavy-handed and she definitely doesn't want to get her hands dirty. Of course, this is not even worth it, but nor does she want to do that. It's a little bit overwhelming trying to figure out, how do we handle this person? You know, I feel like if you just bothered to come out with a statement, there's not much that he can hang on to. But the justice card is here. I don't think she's going to make a statement because the last time this card came out, there was a card of silence over it. I do think that it's so annoying though taking the higher road because people just, clearly they want to keep trying to trigger you and bait you to come out and say something. So this taking the higher road, is also, it's a bit challenging, very annoying, but she's gonna try to figure out what's what. And I mean, she does like Meghan. Meghan's in a really good standing, and they're gonna have a really great summer. I mean, look at that. That's a castle, and they're gonna be a lot of celebrations and parties and just closeness with family. So on the other hand, they may not be thinking about this too much. So let's see what else is going to go on. I also saw in the other readings that Meghan may have just announced the pregnancy to the family. So duration of that. But I do believe while Meghan is there, what is this Tower card? It keeps coming up. Tower card, not good. Let me see what's going on. I don't know if over the summer or some weirdness, her father is going to try to show up at London, trying to make a big fat freaking scene in order to see her. My God, like what would that look like? Him like picketing outside Kensington? Oh, he's too much, this man. I really think they need to stop him at customs and just take the hit and be like, look, sorry, but you're not welcome in this country. We're gonna send you back. Like, don't even let him in the country because it looks like he is like determined um to cause trouble. I mean, he's like in his own mind. He just sits around thinking about this stuff all day, building up these stories and projecting shit onto people. This is like a lot of times not even true. So filling in the blanks and making up stories for their actions and stuff like that. I don't know what I just did there. Um the tower also could mean that it just cuts through this BS. I just feel like they're celebrating the announcement of her pregnancy. That's what I feel like. Yeah. I feel like maybe they're not paying attention at this time to the father, you know, and the father might not say much more of anything either as well. It's kind of strange. But one way or another, I do see this Knight of Cups card again. I just feel like he goes from extreme to extreme. And so I think his next tactic is to come in playing like the very kind person. But he's also extremely manipulative, as you know, emotionally manipulative and a little bit verbally abusive and aggressive. So I feel like he may say some more things that are a bit rude or whatever and take some jabs, but he's only going to be listening to his own monologues or whatever. So, yeah, there's just going to be more talking to the press. That's what that seems to be, you know, a lot of disappointment. Yeah, a lot of disappointment for him, a lot of brooding to me again. And it seems like he's kind of laid off of the drinking that was happening, but that it might just start up again a little bit. He'll be more careful about it. Hmm. Or I'm looking at these cards here saying that him stopping his drinking also might start keeping him up at night into, being a little more depressed about stuff. So, I mean, why is Meghan not speaking to her father? Let's see. This has been too much for Harry and Meghan. And I feel like it's like such a waste of time. They really want to be doing more productive things. So I just kind of feel like they washed their hands of it a little bit. It's just kind of like, ugh, you know. I mean, what are you talking about, Thomas Markle? We invited you to the wedding. We offered you to have some security. We paid for it. We paid for your clothes. We're going to pay for the trip. We're going to pay for your place to stay. And you're talking about we're freezing you out. So let's see. What are Meghan and Harry? Even though I just kind of answered that question. I think Meghan is pregnant. I think Meghan has just found out that she's pregnant. I keep getting the same cards. Totally. They're just celebrating a pregnancy. This is what I see in my opinion. Announcement of a pregnancy. Yeah. I mean, this card can represent Harry. Passionate Harry, who's so hot for Meghan. Yeah, and again, in the midst of this pregnancy, I feel like the queen is like, you guys, she's allowing people to enjoy, but she's very much so like emperor energy. So she's still watching guard. She's on guard. She's gonna handle Markle somehow. I don't know what she's planning on doing here. What is this exactly? What is this? Because it's almost like she could come out and make a personal statement. Maybe she will. Hmm. It's almost like she may be looking at this a couple of ways because there's so much going on. I mean, Marco's just all over the place energetically. I mean, just looking at him just kind of scrambles everybody's brain, like his communication and the up and down emotions, the speaking in that soft voice, but also just being like very aggressive at the same time. Whatever. So I think he kind of looks at him as kind of mentally being all over the place as well. Um, and the fact that obviously they haven't said anything also really drives him to have a lot of thoughts. I'm really thinking, but I don't think she's made a move yet. I think she's totally like trying to play chess here, looking at all the angles. Because I think she may just be considering for once actually saying something. Then again, She doesn't want to do it, but she's thinking of it. In my opinion here. Excuse me, because I keep getting these cards that Marco's just gonna keep going at it, keep going at it, and keep working at it. I mean, how, excuse me, how much can you harp on, especially when you haven't talked to your daughter in a few months? And then, I mean, you already mentioned Princess Diana. You can't mention her too many more times, can you? Before you just start to sound like a broken record. So, um, again, I think the royal family, they're just really enjoying themselves. It's a wonderful time. It's summer. There's time to have been off. I do think that the queen is consulting with probably royal attorneys and things like that, and looking at a number of different options while she's allowing the family to enjoy themselves. She's very much so a protector of the family, so she takes care of a lot. Um, but she's also very much so into continuing to be very regal. She doesn't want to give this man the benefit of even responding to him in a calm manner. So, excuse me. Let me see what else is going on here, and then I'll end this reading because it's not really too much substance here. And there's only so much you can read anyway, especially when you do it every couple of days. I still feel like there's this weird chance that somebody's definitely like paying his way. I see the sun here, so I feel like the sun, it's so hilarious because it says the sun, so I feel like that Sun newspaper very much so maybe excuse me, doing that. But again, I don't feel, they are going to pay for him to get over there, but I don't feel like they pay this man his proper, they don't pay him right. So I feel like, again, he'll be having maybe problems like with his rent, or not only that, with the family, he's just going to disillusion the family some more. But I just feel like he's going. Yeah. Sorry, I just feel like he's just gonna keep on saying stuff to the media, keep on, and keep on, like Markle repeatedly saying stuff in the media. And I don't know what he's talking about. He won't be silenced. It's just fucking weird. Clearly you're not gonna be silenced. You're in the fucking media every 2 weeks. Like, you haven't been silenced. Stop making up stories, It's like one thing to be upset and speak your mind, but it's another thing to sit around and like make up stories. I don't think people really like that. So again, I just really feel like there are a lot of issues with his money and his materialism. There's a certain level of addiction to emotionally abusing people. And yeah, it just seems like that's his thing as he continues on.